Welcome, good morning to the See Through It podcast, episode number 9. Officially, we are into week 1 of the college football season. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you to all the supporters of the podcast for liking and sharing, engaging in conversation. If you have any topics that you would like to hear or see more on, let me know. Comment on the page. Send me an email at SeeThroughItPodcast at gmail.com. I would love to know what you would like to hear. So let me know. Before we get into the college football talks, I wanted to talk about Andrew Luck retiring. That happened. Good morning, Daddy. That happened, and I saw the reaction from the fans, and it was disturbing that the people were booing him as he left the field. I also saw on Twitter, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I follow OJ Simpson on Twitter, and I saw his reaction. And when he reacted that way, I mean, that was a whole nother thread on its own. With his reaction, people was like, well, Andrew Luck, you shouldn't make OJ mad. So that took a whole nother turn for the worst. But to see people reacting to Andrew Luck announcing his retirement from football, from a game that we see has taken a toll on him, is crazy. It reminds you that people will love you for a moment and then hate you for the next, and they have no reason to hate this man. They have no reason to hate him. They have no reason to boo him. And I heard the talks. Well, maybe he should have did that before Final Fantasy drafts and all that. He can do it whenever he feels like doing it, people. That's his body. It's up to him when he wants to retire. He does not care about your fantasy football league. This is his body, his mind that he has to keep waking up every morning, pushing himself to compete through an NFL season that is brutal. And to see people react that way reminds me that people are fickle. One moment they love you, the next moment they hate you. He has done nothing but given his all on that field. For years, the Colts could not put an offensive line in front of him. Did he complain? Did he boo the front office? Did he boo his offensive lineman? No, he didn't. He went out there and played all the games he could play. He went out there and competed as hard as he could. And that's the thanks he gets. Walking off the field, getting booed by his own home team. His own home crowd. The people that supposedly love the fans. That love the Colts. They're fans of the Colts. And that's how you boo them. And then to hear the analysts say he should have done it earlier, or just trying to put the blame on him. First of all, this shouldn't even be a blaming thing. There's no one to blame for this. It is a violent game. He took a lot of hits. That offensive line, if we're gonna blame anybody, blame the GM and the owners for not protecting the quarterback. That's who you blame. You boo the coaches, you boo the GM, you boo the owner. You don't blame the man who's out there giving it all every Sunday and getting smashed. You don't blame him. How do you blame Andrew Luck? How do you boo Andrew Luck? How do you do that? It makes no sense. It's up to him when he decides when he wants to retire. No ESPN analyst, Fox analyst, CBS, it doesn't matter. If he felt like playing for 5 years and getting out after those 5 years, that's on him. Congratulations for surviving 5 years. And now you have the rest of your life to live a healthy life. You don't know what type of aches and pains he's waking up with in the morning or trying to sleep through at night. You don't know the pain that he goes through. So to boo him is ridiculous. ridiculous. To criticize him for the timing of his retirement is ridiculous. Maybe he was sitting there watching that game on the sidelines because he wasn't in uniform. He was watching that game on the sidelines, and he was like, "Man, they getting hit hard. Ooh, these dudes are getting faster." I mean, that offense line looked pretty decent. I don't know, but man, they are hitting out there. Maybe he had one of those moments where he's actually just watching the game and he's like, "Do I really want to do this? My ankle really hurts. My rib cage, I don't." And he's like, "You know what? I don't have it in me no more. I don't have it in me no more." Would you rather have him on the field and he's not giving 100%? Would you rather have him on the field and he's just out there just and you send him out there, but you like, that's not Andrew Luck. Would you rather have that guy out there? There's no reason to boo that man. And all who booed and criticized him should be ashamed of themselves. It's a free country. He can do what he wants. He's earned that right. He's earned that right. So I just wanted to talk about that because I watched it all week and I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe they're criticizing him for the timing or that he's retiring and all the money he's leaving. Who cares about the money? The man is in pain. We saw Gronk talking about he lost the joy to play football. That is a violent game. A violent game. Yes, we all love the big hits, but we don't see how they deal with those hits at home. We don't see the aftermath from those hits. It's a violent game. It is a violent game. Gronk was tearing up when he was talking about how he lost joy to play the football game. And I mean, them players out there trying to hurt him because he's so big. They were trying to put him on the ground. I mean, you can see that. He didn't want to play anymore. We shouldn't be criticizing these players. They're gladiators, warriors out on that field, taking a lot of punishment. Taking a lot of punishment. So we're gonna transition to something that's less violent. In my opinion, I wouldn't say the same excitement, but I mean, you see it on the board. The U.S. Open. We got COCO going against Naomi Osaka. That's gonna be intriguing. If you haven't watched any of the U.S. Open, you should definitely be watching it tonight. I mean, there's a couple games coming on tonight, so I guess flip back and forth. But that's gonna be a good matchup. That is going to be a good matchup. COCO versus Naomi. That girl, she's 15, and to have her in the U.S. Open winning matches against people who are older than her, more experienced than her, it's amazing. To see her mental toughness when she got down in her second set, I forgot who she was playing. You can see it was weighing on her a little bit, but she dug deep and she continued to battle, and she ended up winning that match. Now she's facing Naomi. That's crazy to think about. That a 15-year-old mentally, that's the struggle she was losing in front of a bunch of people that was like cheering her on, that wanted her to win, but she was struggling. And she didn't get mentally weak. She maintained focus, kept digging deep, and pulled that victory out. In our society today, we don't have a lot of young people that are mentally strong like that. We don't have a lot of people that can mentally bounce back. She showed a lot of resilience. That's it's amazing. It's amazing, and to know that she's 15. Naomi is 21. They got some rising stars in the U.S. Open. I'm right now. I'm picking Serena to win because She looks determined. After she lost the last um, major championship, she wasn't herself. Well, that girl actually had her running all over the court. Like she had that girl had Serena running all over the court. Uh, was it the French Open? I believe. I want to say the French Open. I might be wrong, so don't uh don't beat me for it. But that girl had her running all over the court. But I feel like Serena is focused. She looks good out there. The U.S. Open. I know there's some games coming on, and again, that's not a lot of big games coming on. So definitely have that your remote and be flipping back and forth, flip back and forth because that Naomi and Coco matchup is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I don't believe it's gonna be a. I don't think Naomi may win, but she's not gonna win in straight sets. She's not gonna win in straight sets. I believe this one is gonna be a very good one to watch. So make sure you flip back and forth between that Naomi and Coco matchup. Make sure you flip it. The U.S. Open is very exciting. I like it. If you are a fan of competition, as I am, then you cannot miss that matchup. First and foremost, I'm a fan of competition. I'm a fan of sport. I love sports. I'm not. I mean, I have teams that I like to watch, but I'm a fan of competition. And if it's a sport and there's a competitive matchup going on, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. So that's one that you should definitely be tuning into. As we transition, we can talk about now. It's time to talk about college football. If you haven't seen my outlooks for each conference, you should definitely go to the page and look up the SEC outlook, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, and the Pac-12. The Pac-12. Speaking about the Pac-12, they're not doing too good already. Out the gates, UCLA. I thought Chip Kelly was going to have the Bruins ready. They had Cincinnati on the tab, and that quarterback looked horrible. He looked like he wasn't prepared for the game. They've had months to prepare, and he looked bad. I don't know. I wouldn't say his seat is getting hot or it's warming up, but that doesn't look like a Chip Kelly offense at all. I mean, they're not even putting up the points. So can you say that he can't recruit in that area? I mean, but how not? USC is not dominating. I don't know what it is, but that they're not even putting up the points. So it's going to be a very interesting season. They got in week 3, they got to play Oklahoma. In week 3, UCLA has to play Oklahoma. We're going to see how that looks. That might be bad if they go into that game and get smashed. Maybe his seat heats up because then they start the season 0-3. They start the season 0-3. That'll be a big game for the Pac-12. UCLA against Oklahoma. I mean, I don't know how much you want to put on that game to say the Pac-12 is going to, or UCLA is going to win that, but I would. That Chip Kelly, maybe it was a bad move, and that brings me to my point of some coaches. If you're doing good at a school, enjoy what you're doing at that school. Sometimes it's not meant for you to go to the next job. It's not meant for you to move on. You're building something at that school. Build it. Be the greatest ever at that school. Chip Kelly had something going at Oregon. He had something going at Oregon. He's pulling up all the recruits. They weren't like big 5-star. They probably 4 and 3-star players that he was turning into big stars. He leaves, goes to Philadelphia. They didn't really pan out. Well, it didn't pan out because now he's coaching college again. And now he's at UCLA. He might be out of a job at the end of this season. For what? Build what you are building. If you're doing good, build what you continue to build on what you're building on. Stop hopping from job to job to job. Build on what you're building on. It's crazy. Now he might be out of the college football. It's crazy. The Pac 12 needs this win with Oregon tonight. I'm going to just go ahead and lay that out there. The Pac 12 needs this win. And again, I like Oregon, not Oregon. I like Auburn to win. This game is set up for Auburn to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon won this game. Um, Justin, like I'm not as high as everyone else is on him. He's inconsistent sometimes. He has all the skills, the tools. I mean, he's a big quarterback. He has the arm, but he's inconsistent sometimes. He does pass. He's inconsistent sometimes, and this game is set up for Gus Malzahn to pull out some tricks and win this game. Uh, it's definitely set up for Auburn to win this game. Everyone is high on Oregon. Everyone is high on Oregon. But I believe this game is going to be in the trenches. And Oregon hasn't seen a team with this type of defense in the Pac 12. You can't say the Pac 12 defenses are like the SEC defense. They not even like. I would say the Pac 12 is so far behind. They're so far behind. They're so far behind. I don't know who you would compare them to, but they're far behind. Arizona got beat by Hawaii. UCLA got beat by Cincinnati. UCLA going to get smashed by Oklahoma. The teams are not showing up. They're far behind. So that's why I did the Pac-12 the first day, because that conference is just weak. It's a weak conference. Would you who if you had to choose, who would you say is the better conference? The American so there's the American Atlantic Coast, which is the AAC, which features UCF, Army, Navy, Houston, and all them. Would you choose that conference over the Pac-12? Maybe some of those teams wouldn't beat the Pac-12 teams. Which conference would you watch though? Which conference could you watch? I could watch a UCF. I've watched Cincinnati play. I've watched a couple Temple games. It's kind of exciting. It's not like crazy stuff going on, but I can sit there and watch UCF and Houston, Tulsa, Cincinnati, Memphis. I can watch those games. I can't watch a Pac-12 game. It's kind of painful. It's kind of painful. And speaking on painful, the ACC Clemson matchup, ACC and Clemson. It's crazy how everyone praises Trevor Lawrence for being the quarterback that smashed Alabama last year in the championship game. He did a fine job. That team was well prepared. But in game one against Georgia Tech, his stats, this is his stat line: 13 for 23, 168 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Now, if any other Heisman candidate quarterback would have done that, they would have been grilled. The analysts, especially the ACC network, they're not getting on to him. If that was Tua, or if Justin does that same thing, he's done. If Justin goes out there and put out them type of numbers, he's done. If Tua does that against Duke, he's done. Somehow Trevor Lawrence is getting a pass. Those are not good numbers. The touchdown that he had to Higgins, he put that ball in a bad spot. Higgins had to use his size, his jumping ability to go get that thing. And people would be like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Just put the ball in there and let him go get it. If you're playing that type of defense and you got those type of skill players, you put the ball where you're supposed to put the ball and you let your wide receiver run underneath that and get that. Now, if you're playing against elite defenses, then you can say that. Put the ball in the air, let your wide receivers do that. That makes tons of sense. But not when you playing a low defense like Georgia Tech. And I don't care what people say. Georgia Tech's not good. Trevor Lawrence did not come out there and wow us. That was a horrible game by that quarterback. And if any other quarterback who is a Heisman candidate had done that, they would be getting grilled. All I'm saying is, if that's the standard, then hold that same standard to everyone else. And I'm telling you right now, that's not the standard for me. If you are a Heisman candidate, I don't want to see those stat lines. That's not a good stat line. 13 for 23, 168 yards, an interception, 2 touchdowns. Well, they didn't want to show their hands. You didn't have to show your hands with completions and making the right decisions with the ball. Putting the ball in the right location. That has nothing to do with showing your hands. That's running a play and putting the ball where the ball belongs. That's all that is. And he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Like I said, if Justin does that, Ian Book does that, or Jake Fromm, or Tua, they're not going to get a pass. The networks are not going to give them a pass. But because it's Trevor Lawrence and he did what he did to Alabama, he's going to get many passes. Oh, it's week 1. The defense was good. No, stop it. It was not. It was not. It was not. So we got some games to look forward to. Let me see. Some focus games. I'm gonna call it my focus games. Teams that have to focus before they get into their next game, and it's going to be Texas versus La Tech. Texas has LSU the following week. This game they have to focus. If they come into this game sloppy, they won't focus because they're thinking about LSU. The same thing with LSU. LSU has a walkthrough with Georgia Southern. That's another focus game. If they come into that game and that score or the team is not efficient, both teams, Texas and LSU, if both of those teams are not efficient in those games, they wasn't focused. That's what I'm calling my focus games. These teams have to focus in this game before the following week, before the next week's game. But I think they would sleepwalk or not do what they need to do? I think both teams are going to be focused on this game, finishing this game, taking care of business, tuning some things up, and then they get ready for the big one. But if both teams both teams go into those games not focused, I mean, La Tech can put up points. Georgia Southern can cause some injuries with that option that they run. So, by no means other teams are they elite teams, but they better come into those games focused. They gotta come into those games focused and don't sleepwalk. Don't take these things for granted. Get ready, focus in, and take care of business in week 1, and get ready for your big game next week. So that's those are the focus games. Remember that: Texas, La Tech, LSU, Georgia Southern, Northwestern versus Stanford should be a good one. Morning, bro. My highly anticipated game this week. Matter of fact, hold that. Let me finish this. Northwestern Stanford. That should be a good game. Like as I said in my Big Ten outlook, the Big Ten West is going to be tough. The Big Ten is wide open. The Big Ten is wide open. Although this game does not hurt Northwestern if they lose, but this game could definitely vault them forward if they take this victory from a Stanford team that people are sleeping on. Now, they got a returning quarterback, but you don't really know who's his weapons. They lost a big-time receiver that majority of all the passes went to. Still working out that running game. But Stanford is sitting right there. Everyone's talking about Oregon and Utah. I'm not talking about Oregon. I'm talking about Utah and Arizona State. Those are my two sleeping dogs in the Pac-12. But Stanford is sitting there, and they can trip up someone. But Northwestern, if they come into this game and they win this, that's definitely going to be a lot of momentum for Northwestern to go through the Big Ten West. So I like that game a lot. I like that game a lot. Uh, I'm gonna go with Stanford though. I'm gonna go with Stanford because of the veteran quarterback. He has a lot of skill, a lot of tangibles. I like him, but I'm gonna go with Stanford. I'm gonna go with Stanford on that one. Uh, but that's a game to watch. That's a game to watch. Then we move on. We have Florida State and Boise State. Now this one I went back and forth trying to figure it out. I don't know. That Florida State is in such of a just loss for identity. They don't even know who they are right now, and I feel like if Willie Taggart have another yeah, if Willie Taggart has another rough season, he's gonna be out of there, and Florida State will be looking for another coach. Boise State, Boise State has been running the Mountain West for years, and I want them to be in the Big 12 or the Pac 12. Uh, but I don't know. Florida State in the opening game since playing Alabama has not performed. So that's a tough one to watch. A lot of Florida State fans want their team to come back, but this game right here against Boise State would definitely answer some questions of is the Seminoles, are they building on the right track? Are they on the right path to being who they once were? And I believe this game is not a huge Power Five team I mean, Boise State is a good non-Power Five team to play if you want to gauge how good your team is going to be. So I would say that's another game for all the Florida State fans to really pay attention to. Don't just pay attention to it because that's your team. Really look at the offensive line. Look at the quarterback play. Look at the coaches. Just look at that team from top to bottom to see if Florida State is building towards the right path. So, I, who am I going to pick for that game to win? I don't trust Florida State. I have to see them. If they come out and win this game, then I'll pay more attention. But I'm gonna go Boise State because I just don't. Since playing Alabama in the opening seat, they have not been the same. They have not been. Even when they lost Jimbo. Well, since that Alabama game, they have not been the same. So I'm gonna go Boise State, but I'll pay close attention to see how they play that game. Next, we got Notre Dame, Louisville. Now, I've been riding the wave of N book. I like N book a lot, and I believe if Notre Dame is going to do anything, if they're going to do anything, it's going to be because N book. The defense is young. They lost a lot of veteran players on that defense. They got a tough schedule. Notre Dame has a tough schedule, and the one big game, I don't know. This game is kind of set up kind of tough too because Louisville is going to be bringing back a lot of players. But again, I feel like they big test is going to be Georgia when they go to Georgia. We're going to see how legit Notre Dame is. But I believe that if Notre Dame is to do anything this year, it's going to be because Ian Book's arm. Ian Book's arm. Can he carry the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Will Brian Kelly allow him to carry the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? I believe they can. They'll sit back there and throw that. Do I believe they will throw the ball 50 times a game? No. Do I want them to? Yes, because I believe they have the weapons. They have a quarterback that can do it. Let him push the ball. I think they're too conservative. Let him push the ball. I don't think you can put faith in that running game or the defense. So I'm going to say Notre Dame will take this game against Louisville, But I would say pay attention to how the Notre Dame offense plays out. Yeah, I believe they this will be the this is going to be a test. But I want to see how that offense plays out. If they play very fast and they are efficient with throwing the ball, because I believe Notre Dame's um, all their wins are going to come off him throwing the ball. I believe all their wins, and if he wins, if Book wins by throwing the ball, Book might have a ticket punch to the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that. If Notre Dame produces through the air, Ian Book would be in New York for the Heisman Trophy. So this game and that Georgia game, early season test. If they come out with this win and they look good, that's gonna be some momentum going into that Georgia game. So yeah, everyone pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. So then next we got Houston and Oklahoma. This is a game that's not really been talked about, but I think it should be because Houston is not a they're not going to be a pushover. They got a returning quarterback who led the college football in touchdowns. He can run, he can throw. Houston Cougars run that air raid, and they're gonna put up some points. Defensively, I don't know if they're gonna stop anyone defensively. Oklahoma can't stop anyone defensively, but you know who they do have? They have Jalen Hurts. Now, will he be putting up those yardage through the air? No, I don't think so. Will he do that on the ground? Yes, he will. He's gonna shred defenses with the ground game. Um, I don't know if you can fix accuracy down the field. I mean, the one biggest knock on Cam Newton is that he's inaccurate down the field. He has the power, but he doesn't have the accuracy. And I'm seeing the pattern. If you don't have accuracy, you just don't have it. It's not. It's like you can't be taught accuracy. Um, and Jalen Hurts doesn't have that down the field. Now, will they screen people to death? They probably gonna screen people to death. They in out routes, quick slants. They probably gonna be chewing up yardage like that. But I don't see them going deep and quick offense scores unless they got some real elusive players. But this is a game to watch. If Jalen Hurts come into that game and he's looking like a totally new quarterback, being able to push the ball down the field accurately, that Oklahoma team might have another quarterback winning the Heisman. I don't know what it is, but anytime there's a quarterback from Oklahoma and he goes to New York, he usually gets that trophy. He usually gets that trophy. So this is a game to watch. Oklahoma doesn't really have a tough schedule this year, but this is a game to watch for the Big 12. So that the like I said, this week is not. There's not a lot of games like previous seasons. We have that one big matchup where it's been hyped. We've had that, but we don't have that this year. We got Oregon and Auburn, but we don't know. We really don't know how Justin Herbert is going to play. We don't know how Bo Nix, the true freshman for Auburn, is going to play. That's why I believe this game is going to be won in the trenches, and I feel like Auburn's going to win it. But I wouldn't be shocked if Oregon pulls it out because I mean they do have a quarterback that can throw the ball. So to your question, do I have a highly anticipated game that I would be like watch. Uh, I really don't. I mean, if anything, I would go Louisville, Notre Dame, Houston, Oklahoma, and Boise State, Florida State. And you can range that however you want to range that, but those three games, um, I would tune in. Oh, and matter of fact, Northwestern, Stanford, because like I said, the Big Ten West is going to be tough. Purdue lost last night to Nevada. I don't think a lot of people picked that one. I didn't see that one happening. I did not see Purdue losing to Nevada, but they lost to them. It was a field goal, but they did lose. But Northwestern and Stanford, if Northwestern takes care of Stanford, That's a tough team. They take care of Stanford. That's a momentum wave that they're gonna ride throughout the season. So that'll be a tough one. But those are I would say those are my four games: Notre Dame, Louisville, Houston, Oklahoma, Florida State, Boise State, Northwestern, Stanford. You can tune into the Auburn. Um, if you paid attention, I didn't mention Alabama and Duke until just now. That's not a game that you're gonna have to really put a lot of time into. If Tua doesn't play well and he doesn't put the stat numbers up, then that might be an alarm. But like I said, they didn't crucify Trevor Lawrence for the stat line that he put together: 13 for 23, 168 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. That's not Heisman quarterback numbers. So it is what it is, and that's what I'm going with. That is what I'm going with. This is week 1. Week 2, we got some big matchups. So that is the show. Let me see. Anything else? Nope, that is it. But yes, I do like Handbook. But that is the show. This Friday coming up, September 6th, I will be doing an episode with promoting the Walk for Autism that's happening September 21st. So make sure you tune into that interview. Make sure you tune into that. And then the following weekend, that Sunday, I will have Mark Skoll Jr. from WNDU, the sports reporter. We will be talking Notre Dame football, Big Ten. Make sure you tune into that. That's after Notre Dame's first home game. So make sure you tune in to that. Share, like, comment, engage in the conversations, whether it's community or sports. Keep promoting, keep supporting. Again, thank you all. Also, before I get out of here, I need to let you guys know I am working on getting the YouTube channel going, Twitch channel. If you're on Twitter, Periscope, trying to broaden my platform. So make sure you stay tuned to what's going on. We're gonna grow this thing with you guys' help. Um, Looking to get some more equipment, get some better lighting, and sorry about the lighting on the board back there on my whiteboard. I'm working with the lighting, getting some different mic setup. So continue to support. The podcast is going to grow. I'm building momentum. We're building momentum. So again, I appreciate all that. I appreciate it. So again, thank you. I am your host, Brian Sales. This is the See Through It podcast. I will see you guys next time. Oh, before we get out of here, I just remembered. If you haven't went to ESPN.com, there's a college game day pick'em. Look for my group, STIPODCAST. Join that group, and the winner of at the end of the season, if you have the highest points, you'll win a $50 gift card for picking the right teams every week. So if you have not done that, I'll make another post on Facebook and share that. But college game day pick'em, sign up, pick your games every week, and at the end of the season, if you're at the top, you win a $50 gift card from the STIP podcast. From this podcast, it'll be a universal gift card, so you can use it wherever you want to use it. So just to throw that out there, slipped my mind, but I'll make another post reminding everyone to do that. College football week 1 is done. Go enjoy those games. Make sure you tune into that COCO and Naomi US Open matchup is going to be fantastic. I promise. If you like competition, tune into that. Again, folks, thank you. Have a great day. And until next time, peace.